Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Lancescurv Show. This is going to be a quick one. If I sound a little terrible, I'm still getting over this cold. I want to thank everybody once again for your well wishes on my recuperation from this cold. I'm still fighting it, but I'm feeling a lot stronger. Anyway, I want to read an article from News One this morning. Today's date is the 5th of December, 2016. And it basically states that, the title is, Whites No Longer Majority by 2050, New Census Data Predicts. And this is in line with what I had on my mind while I woke up this morning, because there's some things that are happening here locally in Orlando that are also happening across the country. And I kind of joined the thought of gentrification together with this article when I saw it, because I see a correlation. Anyway, I'm going to start to read the article. Here's the subtitle. We are in the midst of an epic transition, Stefan Kleinberg, sociologist and founding director of the Kinder Institute for Urban Research at Rice University. Check that out. The Kinder Institute for Urban Research. They're researching the urban terrain. Don't think that what is happening by chance, right? Why are they researching us? Those of us who live, code word, urban, black, inner city. They watch us. This is a settlement. I'm going to use that word. I started using it yesterday. A settlement. The ghettos, the hoods. Those of us who are there. All of us are not there. We live all over the place. But for the most part, when we say hood and ghetto and urban and inner city, it's poor black people. Kinder Institute for Urban Research at Rice University. There are other institutes for urban research at different universities, and they are funded to watch us and to see how we react. We are one big experiment. I want to say that before I even read the article. So don't think when drugs go down in our neighborhoods and the crime and the different things and how we react into this. It's almost like a cow where they live. There's a fence there that's invisible because it's the electric fence. And you're driving on the side of the highway or on the side of the road, you say, wow, why don't those cows or those animals walk beyond the boundaries of the property and walk out onto the highway? Because there's an unseen force there that keeps them there. So the same thing with the hoods. You don't make enough money, it keeps you there because you can't afford to live anywhere else. Didn't want to rant. I want to keep this quick. Let me read the article. In less than 35 years, the United States will be a lot browner. According to the U.S. Census, by 2050, the United States will no longer have a clear white majority. 53% of the population will be multiracial or non-white, compared with less than 40% today. The census predicts whites will make up 40% of the population in 2050, while Latinos will account for 30% and African Americans 15%. Let's hold this right there, right? Out of whites, out of Latinos, out of African Americans, out of those three, okay, we know we have Asians and everybody else, but out of those three, those are the major three that they're looking at, okay? Which one is not a race? White is a race. Okay, they say African Americans, but African black, right? That's a race of people. But Latino, is that a race? Not to put down Latinos because of the cultural identity, which is so clear. All right. But Latinos are made up of a mixture, right? Many Latinos are black. So that alone, okay, they say Latinos will account for 30%, but how much of that 30% are black? So they're splitting the numbers to make us seem as though we are less. If you're black from America or black from Puerto Rico or black from South America, or, it doesn't matter. You are black. So don't look at this African Americans. That's what we're called now. Before it was Negro, Afro Americans and colored and all of this other stuff, right? They're splitting the numbers to make us look like we're weak. But we're really the world majority when you look at people that are not white. So they don't want to lump us in together, right? Okay, I just wanted to say that. That's kind of shrewd. That slips past most people. Okay, let's get on with it. Stefan Kleinberg, a sociologist and founding director of the Kinder Institute for Urban Research at Rice University, joined Roland Martin during Friday morning's edition of News One Now to discuss the browning of America. We are in the midst of an epic transition. The United States throughout all of its history was an amalgam of European nationalities and is now becoming a microcosm of the world, said Kleinberg. Those individuals born during the baby boom generation are moving on to retirement and are being replaced by a very different generation, a mix of all the ethnicities of all the villages of the world. Kleinberg said, "We are on the cusp of a remarkable moment as the country founded on the principles of inclusion will become the first universal nation in human history." What happened to the one-drop rule now? So, as I showed before, they're splitting us up statistically to make it seem like we're not part of that, and of course, okay, we were 13%, but so our numbers aren't moving up, right? So our numbers are moving up when I open my eyes and look around. Go to the South Bronx in New York City, and you may have so many Latinos walking around with afros. Aren't they black? So they don't want to really say what it really is. That's like a hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane coming, and the weatherman says, well, we have light showers on its way. It's worse than what they make it seem. Not worse for me or you, because we are people of color, we are black, but they don't want to admit it still. And this is why the world is going on the way it is. This is why we're being attacked and vilified and dumbed down and effeminized and drugged out of our mind and given so much to just take us off our course, because let us do it to ourselves. I'm just seeing so much with this. Okay, let me continue reading this. All right, boom. Martin reminded viewers of the white fear that seems to be gripping many in America as the nation becomes browner over the course of the next 30 years. While agreeing with Martin's assessment, Kleinberg said, "No force in the world is going to stop it. Not Houston or Texas or America from becoming more African American, more Asian, more Latino, and less Anglo as the 21st century unfolds." Kleinberg added, "Of course, there's a concern about my country is changing and that suddenly is not the same country I used to know. And you combine that with the economic problems of the loss of good blue-collar jobs that are locking people out of opportunities. They don't get the education they need for the jobs of the 21st century, and you've got a tremendous basis for anxiety and insecurity as we undergo what is going to be an epic transformation. America in the 21st century will be a different place than America that we've known throughout our history." A couple little more statements at the bottom, but little quick things, and that's it pretty much for the article. I'll drop the link down in the information area below on this video so you can read it and see the video for yourself. I'm going to run out of here soon, but now I'm going to share a few thoughts that I had concerning things here locally, which also pertain, and I mean locally here in Orlando, Florida, Central Florida, but also pertain to many cities across the country. So it's not really a local issue. I'll just be calling out names here locally, right? Last week when I was driving the bus, because, I have a good pulse of what's going on in the street, because I'm in the street all day. I'm paid to be in the street all day. I'm paid to talk to people in the street all day, sitting down on the bus, and people bring me information. Oh, what a wonderful position for me to be in doing what I do. I get the pulse, I get the names, I even hear about the dirty cops and what they're doing. I get names, right? I hear things. I keep my mouth shut to a point with certain things, but I am a storehouse of information, and I observe. That being said, I just noticed the other week, was it last week, they had a rally right on Ivy Lane in Columbia. For those who are in Orlando, know Ivy Lane in Columbia. Now, that's an urban terrain. That's what most folks would say is a poor black neighborhood. And there's a guy who he took this house and he gutted it out. And I think on Friday and Saturday he sells barbecue chicken, and he's doing very well. I believe he lives like a block or two down, and he was doing it before, but he didn't have the licenses. He didn't have all the things that he needed to do. So he would set up shop in front of his house and sell chicken. And us black folks in the hood, we'd go there, hey, this is some good chicken, I'm buying it. I don't care about the white man down telling his license. Give me an order, right? So he was making a killing, and I loved it. And this was back in the day when I was eating chicken. One time I stopped the bus, he said, hey, bruh, taste this. And for a couple weeks, I was killing his chicken too. But anyway, I stopped eating chicken and all of that stuff. But it's good to see the brother do good business. Now he set up a house almost on the exact intersection of Ivy Lane and Columbia, where Columbia turns into Raleigh, right there. Because it's teed off right there by Ivy Lane. So it's like a house or a structure. There's a church on the corner, and there's a house, the next house over. And it's right there on the commercial strip. A lot of these houses that are on the major streets were there from long before they were major streets, before the growth of Orlando and folks moved down from up north. Okay, so he's there. He's selling his chicken. He's got like an empty lot next to the house where cars pull up. I mean, it's backed up. I love to see that type of commerce, black to black commerce, supporting someone because he lives right there, the 2 blocks over, and he's serving the community and he's making money. Better than somebody else coming, some Arab coming, making money, some Asian coming, making money. Keep that money in the community, and he's doing well. Now, I saw that they had a rally there. I couldn't stop because I was working, but from the signs that I saw, it was, many people had signs, "Blacks stop killing blacks," because there have been some killings in that very neighborhood. I think it was up to 3 killings, but there's always something going on there. And because of the conditions, you got to expect that, right? So, here black folks there, they had their rally there with his permission, I believe, and he set it up because he was giving away free chicken dinners to everyone. I mean, he loaded the chicken. People were getting on my bus, and they had the styrofoam containers, and them bad boys were weighed down. It wasn't like, a little tiny piece like they give you in school, in elementary school, and you want more, right? He gave a whole lot. He really, and from a distance, it was all good. I commend him for that. I am not knocking him or the people who were there for that. But I looked beyond that. I had time to think. And everybody had their signs, "Blacks stop killing blacks. Blacks stop killing blacks." Right? It's all good. But the media, the local media, they were tripping over each other to be there. They were there. I spotted, I think, at least 3 different media platforms, major here in Orlando. And they were videotaping, watching the people get the chicken. They were videotaping people. They were speakers that were there. Now, from that aspect, I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying this. The whole theme of that gathering was "Blacks stop killing blacks." And they wanted to publicize this. But when you speak of the outside forces that come in and set up shop or set us up in our black neighborhoods to fall and falter, the media is nowhere around. This helps with their narrative to say, look, black on black crime, black people are killing each other. And yes, we do have some black people killing each other, and it does need to stop. But why does the media come out for that and they don't come out for anything else? Why do they want to cut you off on these shows when you start speaking truth? But as long as what you speak that is truth in a partial manner, they're there as long as it fits their narrative. So I want us all to understand that when there's a camera around or the news comes around, they pick from our words like a painter picks the color from a palette to paint his picture. Wow, that's a lot of P's there, right? I couldn't repeat that if I wanted to. But they take from those words. Does it fit our narrative? And what's the narrative? The narrative is, if you listen to this article or listen to what I said before when I read that article from News One about the browning of America, and you look at something like this, gentrification. Now I'm here in Orlando and I'm driving up and down and I see gentrification. I've been driving for many, many years, right? And I see it happening slowly in the black neighborhoods because these people in the powers that be and in the power positions know that the browning of America is happening. So we better get the niggas out from where they are in strategic positions. And if we're gonna be the minority, from now we better set up so that we're in strategic positions. We don't wanna live far away from the downtown where we have our prestigious jobs. We want to set it up that there are no blacks near the downtown area or the busy commercial areas, and they will be the strangers when they come to work in these areas, and this will be our home. We're going to keep our circle tight. And in essence, I believe in keeping your circle tight, but not the way they do. Meaning that I've said this for years to friends of mine. Okay, this has no relation to this, but in a sense it does. I'm just going to say it and share it. Where you work, where you live, and where you go to school, where you shop, and where you party if you party, or your leisure time, your social time. If those factors can be all within the same area, you'll have more time to indulge in each of those factors. Instead of, I have an hour and a half commute to work, and then when I get home, I have to drive 30 minutes to pick up my kids from the daycare, and then I'm going to rest a little bit and do some housework, but I got to get up and I got to drive another hour because the town where we have our social life, where we meet up with friends and go to dinner and go to our clubs and movies, is another hour away. You're spending most of your time running between different places. My commute to work is about 10 minutes tops. Takes about 6 or 7 minutes for me to get home. My circle is tight. I don't party. I party in this bedroom called my Scurv Media Studio. And this is why I can get so much done, because there's not much time wasted running here and running there. My personal chef, my beautiful wife, Mrs. Scurv, is here. I get plates of nutritious food handed to me. My circle is tight. This is why I can get so much done. But many of us in the black neighborhoods don't understand that principle, and many whites in power do. And since they know that there's a browning of America coming by 2050 within a minority, they don't want to stumble over us to come and live well. Oh, we have to pass through the nigger neighborhood to go downtown, to go to work. Oh, they're right there. I'm jealous of Leroy. He just has to walk to work. Why didn't my parents take care of this, or my grandparents set it up for us? And again, when I say, with the media, how they come around and you think you're having a rally, saying something good, which you are addressing your concerns. And what we need to do is stop being so open when we address our own concerns. Because here they come like that nosy neighbor, and they will repeat it in a different way. So the other people out there who are not in our neighborhoods can turn around and say, oh, you see, you can't say black on black crime is not bad, because I just saw in the news that there's a rally down by Ivy Lane in Columbia in Raleigh, where blacks were saying blacks have to stop killing blacks. So those of us who don't research for ourselves and speak to the people for ourselves, because I'm out there, you can't tell me sugar honey iced tea, because I'm out there in the street every single day, and I'm not stupid. They'll talk about that, but they won't talk about other things. So where are those cameras when they're not coming around to use our words against us? Those cameras are reporting on us. There was another incident that happened last night or yesterday. And I really don't watch the TV. I'll put the news on to have an overall understanding about what's going on, but I know that's not the truth all the way. It could be a partial truth, because when I'm in the streets, the accidents and the shootings and the things that I see, when I turn on the news, lots of times I don't see it. They choose, and what you have to understand is not just an Orlando thing, it's an overall thing. The news media is a tool of brainwashing us. They pick the stories that they deem important, but it may not be important to us. So they're engineering our perception of the world. They're engineering our perception of the neighborhood in which we live in. Every night there's a shooting in my neighborhood, but every night there's a shooting on the other side of town too. But when the police show up to the scene of that shooting, if it happens to be in an affluent neighborhood, they cut the lights off. They're not flashing. They're not making the noise. They're not driving through 80 miles an hour. They're not coming out with guns drawn, because that particular zip code, they pay so much taxes, they have to have a certain image. So when a child is molested over in Windermere, a prestigious, affluent zip code, they don't blow it up as much. That's what I saw and found it so amusing that 2 cops were killed over there. Was it 2 or 3 years ago, within a span of weeks? I said, oh, Windermere is now the hood. Cops are getting killed over that. And there's so many local people who are like, damn, Scurv, he saw it and he said it that way. Because look, hey, you want to say a place is a hood because this happens? If it happens over by you, then you're the hood too. But they want to use the news. Let me get back on subject now. They want to use the news and the media as a tool to manipulate how you see your neighborhood. So if every day something, according to the news, is happening bad in your neighborhood, what do you think about doing? Oh, it's getting bad around here. Oh, I don't think we should stay here and retire. Oh, I think we need to move out of the neighborhood. And guess what? That's what they want you to do. Because geographically, it might be a very much favorable. Okay, I gotta cut this. Okay, let me just tell her. Sweetheart, I'm recording something right now. I'm gonna call you back in a few minutes. All right? Okay. Yeah. Keep it real, y'all. Ain't gonna front. Mrs. Scurv checking up on me. Anyway, that's gonna make us want to leave. And that's what they want. They want us to leave. They'll let the drugs go on, and the media will be there and project that to the world. See? Now, with Pine Hills, where I happen to live, there was a TV show Brother Carlos told me about, a major TV show that he was watching, and even the people on the TV show said Pine Hills was called Crime Hills. Look, I'm living very well up here in the so-called hood. If you want to call it the hood, hey, it's the hood. My hood is quiet. My hood has a lake across the street. My hood is on a corner lot with all of this more yard that it takes for the house to be on. It's quiet. I got a garden. I got a huge shed back there that's going to be the next studio. I can drive cars all up around my property, fenced off nice and high. Beautiful house. Best house on the block. Damn it. Yes, I'm going to say it. Mrs. Scurv puts enough work on out there, and I help a little bit, but she forget it. So this is the hood, right? I'm not paying the same money they pay over in Windermere, but guess what? I get the same sunlight, I get the same air, I get the same tranquility, and I'm close to my job, aka plantation. So this is why I have the time to do what I do and to be vibrant. I got the flu right now, y'all. And even in my weakened state, I'm strong. So I'm going to get up from this situation that I'm in and run somewhere else? For who? So somebody else can come over and take it and thumb their nose at me? And when they come in, when the white folks move in, and they have the houses priced over where many of us can't come back in to live if we were so stupid to leave, they would call it a different name. The Estates at Pine Hills. Downtown Pine Hills. And you'd see a Starbucks. You'd see a Target, a super Target, open up all night. You'd see all different types of stores and shops and restaurants. And when we come back to visit, oh my God, it done changed around here. Wow, it's so nice. Guess what? And where you ran out to move because they put it in your head that your neighborhood was so bad, now that becomes the hood. But they don't care because that's miles and miles away, and you niggas can kill each other off because you're not close to downtown. And for those who are here locally listening, if you live in Pine Hills or anywhere in the country, if you live in a place that's not too far from downtown, right? And they're trying to call it the hood, and the properties seem to be dilapidated and run down, don't run. Hold on to it. Weather the storm. Even if you have to rent it out and live somewhere else temporarily. Because they're doing this on purpose. Evans High School, where Dr. Umar Johnson came and spoke several weeks ago, which is about 3 or 4 minutes from where I live. They ripped that high school up and they fixed it up. Man, it is so amazing. It is a beautiful structure. And people used to look at that high school like, oh, that's where all the bad nigger kids go. Well, you know what? There are blacks there still. But it's renovated beyond belief. It's such a different structure. But I noticed that they made some nice cobblestone walkways, at the intersection where you can cross over. Certain touches are coming in. And I had to ask myself, I said, is that for us? Is that really for us? Or is it for that time when they know the gentrification effect will happen and we'll leave and they'll have that nice school for their kids? Because guess what? That's a concern for parents when they're coming in and they have young kids. How are the schools? So that's what that tells me. So black people, wherever you are, open your eyes. Wherever you are, understand that sometimes they'll do something for what you think is that you think they're doing it for you. But it's to soup you up, hype you up, and make you think, oh, they're fixing up the high school and they're making a cobblestone walkway and they have a few police. I feel a lot safer. The police are not there for you. Why all of a sudden they care about you? The police are there for that little white Becky who's jogging in the morning with her little poodle. See, because that's what's going to be there. Those cops will be there stationed on that corner to make her feel safe and to make her feel safe away from you and your sons and your children. Because we are the monsters. But it's a long, slow burn, and we don't see the transition. We're praying and looking down to our phones. We're going to the hair spot and getting our hair did. The Koreans are getting the money because we can't bend down and do our own nails. Everybody else had, and those businesses will still be there. Trust me, when you're gone, according to their plans, those businesses will still be there, and they'll have a wonderful relationship. Oh, it's so wonderful. I don't have to follow you around in my store because niggas are all gone. Yes, that's the reality. And people don't like when I talk like this. But it makes sense. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just a mirror. I'm reflecting back what I see. And that's the reality of what I see. I'd like to hear your comments on this. Because it's not just an Orlando Crime Hills thing. And one more thing I wanted to say. Along with that rally that they had here about blacks killing blacks, that the media ran down to because that can fit their narrative about black people killing each other. But the Burger Kings and the KFCs and the Wendy's in our neighborhood, that's not killing us either. Who owns those places? You're killing us off with the junk food. You're killing us off in our hospitals. You're using us as guinea pigs. We're turning up sick. Mrs. Scurv sent me a video about some white man who was revealing what they're doing to us in the hospitals. Look how many times we've had shows here where individuals called in about organ theft. They love it in Chicago that there's stuff going on between the black people killing each other. Free organs. They can make money off of us. See, that's the thing. When they can't use us anymore, we're no good to them. And we think we're walking around free. We have the electric fence, the invisible fence around the hood. Our little bit of money that we make, that we have to stretch and hustle things on the side and sell loose cigarettes and, a couple of chicks. I've seen women, reputable women, who I wouldn't think do certain things. They're dressed so nice from their office job. They take the bus home, they go home. And then later on I look, because I'm a night driver. And I drive during the rush hour in the evening, so I see folks coming home. But then 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, after the kids are tucked away, they take a chance, some of them. And you see that same woman walking the streets to give a couple blowjobs at night. Let's just be real. Make a little extra money and come home. Not everybody, but look at that. And look at the white men driving up and down our neighborhoods looking for that. Arrest their asses, chase their asses out of the neighborhood. But they go back to their affluent neighborhood, watch the TV, chuckle to themselves, and they say, yes, as he says to his wife, all those blacks are off the chain. But you go out there to get your freak on. You go out there to get your drugs. And you come back to the safety net in the comfort zone of your affluent neighborhood, and you can point fingers at us, but you ain't no different. Now, the thing I saw yesterday again was a brother speaking about a shooting. I don't know the exact circumstances, but what I caught him saying at the end was, yep, there you go. That's Pine Hills for you. That's Crime Hills. The camera was there to catch that. So stop putting down your own neighborhood, people. I call it the hood just for the purposes of this conversation, but I live in Pine Hills. And there are many people who throw off on my neighborhood, and they don't live half as good as I do. I can say that. I'm not bragging. I'm not rich. I don't have a mansion, but I live good. And I can say that at 53 years old because I've worked hard all my life. Took a few knocks, made a few bad decisions, had to get up and come back, but I live good. There are few people out here that I know that live as good as me. And that's not, I don't drive the newest car. It's not about that. But that peace of mind from within, being centered, knowing how to live, knowing what you need, knowing what you want out of life. Every day is a happy day for me, right in what they would call the hood. Let me tell you something. God did not make any place on this earth called a hood. So when this white man steps in to tell you that, you turn him around, chase him away, call him a liar, and you stay put. Because that's what they want. Don't be manipulated, people. Don't let them put fear in your heart. They read the articles like this. They know that by 2050, they will be the minority. But they want to be in the strategic positions and play you out of position.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at Lancescurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Lancescurv.